Hey, welcome to Bones Collector, and today on the Bones Collector we're going to talk about a new game, which is kind of rare for us, but a new game called Maglev Metro by Ted Alspach. And Ted Alspach is the owner of Bezier Games, and that's who the publisher is, of course. And we have another game by Ted Alspach. What is it? Maybe we don't.
What do we have by Ted Alspach?
I don't think we do. We did have Suburbia.
Because he did Suburbia and Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Yeah. Okay, so we used to have a couple of games by Ted Alspach, Suburbia and Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and we liked those okay. They were okay, but we liked Subdivision better, so we got rid of Suburbia, and Castles of Mad King we just
didn't hit home with us.
So, but it's a good game.
There's not much on the back.
Yeah, it's a good game. There's the back of the box. Box is nice and thick. We'll talk about.
You can see a little bit back there.
You want to talk about components first or the game?
Talk about the components.
The components first?
Yeah.
The production of this game is amazing. And I mean, for the price, I think it was $50.
It's $50.
And I paid $50 for some games where you didn't get much. But
this one's yours.
In this game, let's talk about these super thick tiles. I haven't seen tiles this thick since Sunrise City.
They might even be thicker.
They are thick, man. These tiles are super thick. The board is, what do you call it, layered or?
Double layered.
Double layered, yeah. So these fit right in the board, and that's pretty cool.
Even on here, where they're on here, it's recessed, so those fit in there.
Yeah. And then your player boards are double layered, where you're putting robots and commuters.
I can probably sort of pick it up.
Yeah. It's kind of neat.
Because they'll stay right on there.
And all the robots and commuters are made of wood.
Light shining on it. There we go.
And then the track that you're laying down on your player color are these clear plexiglass pieces that you are laying out from station to station so that you can travel around.
Let me have one of yours.
So that's pretty cool.
And they're made so that you can put them on top of each other and not cover each other's track.
Yeah,
and
so
it's 4 players, so there's enough room on there for all 4 of the colors.
And that's pretty neat.
To be visible when you're laying track, so you can cross each other if you need to.
Comes with this big metal Metro token to ride the train, I suppose. But this big piece of chunky metal for the first player token with an M on it, and then your deck of cards. Yeah, and this card stock is it's just regular card stock.
But you don't hold them in your hand.
Yeah, they're not anything you hold in your hand. So yeah,
they're just your bonus cards that you keep hidden, so that you're not holding them. So they're not great, but you're not holding on to them, so they'll be fine.
Then you have a nice draw bag where the commuters and robots are going to go in. They're going to draw out to populate the buildings on the stations on the board. And that's the components. Nice rule book.
Pick up and deliver game.
Yep.
Did you already say that?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't say that.
Okay.
This is a pick up and deliver game. And then let's talk about the start of the game. This game is not what you expect, I don't think. I mean, most pick up and deliver games, what you're doing on the board is the bulk of the thinking and strategy. But in this game, because of what you're doing on the board, it's equally important what you're doing on your player board. Because
and your strategy's here.
Yeah, you're building
your bonus cards.
You're building a movement engine. As this gets stronger and stronger, your ability to move around on the board and build gets stronger and stronger. But the thing you have to think about is the engine that you're building for points, because that is equally important on your player board. So you're building a point scoring engine also for the end of the game, and that's what you have to keep in mind. So that is pretty cool, and that's what makes it kind of different. And not only that, for this game you have an ability to adjust the engine that you've built, and you have a column here that you put robots in. You start out with 1, but you can adjust and move these robots around as an action.
I forgot you had 1 built in.
You have 1 built in.
I was thinking I couldn't adjust until I put 1 there.
Maybe that's why.
I'm not very smart.
That's why I won.
That's why you beat me.
And so, hey, let's talk about at the beginning of the game, you have 4 decks of cards, and part of your scoring at the end of the game are the goal cards that you select. So we have a draft. You have 4 decks of cards, and we play 2-player. You guys know that's the way we play. So I take 2 decks, she takes 2 decks. We select 1 card from each deck, pass the deck to the other player, and then you select a card out of those 2 decks, and you end up with 4 end-game goal cards. So you get to go through the deck and decide, hey, can I do that, or do I want to try and get that one done, or if I do this one, you see I chose that other card, maybe this one in this other deck goes with that one, and I can get those done in a cohesive type of fashion.
That actually is an advanced variant. There is a way where you just give each person one card from each deck. That's another way to do it.
Yeah, I like the draft.
Yeah. Well, at least then you get to kind of choose what and you still sometimes can't do them, but
I like card drafting. It adds something to the game, and once you have those goals in mind, it gives you a direction to go in. But the thing about the game that I found the strangest thing to get used to is you have to be willing to pick up your track and move it.
yeah.
And it costs you
Sometimes, yes.
it costs you actions, but you get caught in a corner if you're not careful, and you can't get to some of the stations you need to get to. So you're just going to have to say, well, I'm going to burn some actions and pick up track and lay it back down to build a new track pattern so that I can get to where I want to go.
Well, like this, you can only have 2 of your color coming off a city. So this city has 2 green and 2 yellow coming off of it. So this city down here never got built because
We can't get
you
to
already have 2 people coming off that one too. Nobody could get to this city unless I picked up this track and moved it and physically changed my pattern to come over there. We couldn't get there. We got that one little center thing blocked off. But
And there's two sides to this board. The other side is New York?
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
I believe.
I thought it was New York, but
Oh, let's look. The other side is Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Manhattan subway.
we played the Berlin side,
And it comes with,
and there is a difference.
we haven't tried the other side yet. It comes with a hub that gets placed in the center of the board. So it's going to play differently, obviously, but we have not done that yet.
I mean, look how thick that is.
Yeah.
That thing is thick. Oh my goodness, that's pretty neat.
That'll
yeah.
be our next, is to try the other side, to see what
So
that's like.
and then you have, I didn't even mention the little metal trains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
These are awesome.
That you run around and you pick up the little robots and put them in here, and they come in each player
I
color.
mean, they're metal trains with plastic sides. They're just,
with plastic sides, yeah.
they're amazing.
And so you're going to put your commuters and your robots in there to go to different stations and deliver them. This is a really, really, really well designed game. And
This would be like a deluxe edition. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd think this was a deluxe edition of a game.
yeah, it's
You
like a
can fit 4
Kickstarter.
little people in there. And
Yeah, I can fit 4, which you never were able to do.
no, you have to have capacity over here of 4, which,
I had a capacity of 2 the entire game, and I just didn't.
and if this guy landed on the copper tile, he could drop off his copper people if he has the drop off capability of dropping off 3 people.
Yeah.
But you drop off, if I want to get rid of the silver, I'd have to get to there and drop him off. And when you drop them off, they come to your board.
And then part of your player board down at the bottom corner, the bottom left corner, is unlocking passengers and building stations, and you have to have those filled up before you can even mess with that color of passenger or build that color station. So it's a challenge to get all that and coordinate all that on your player board, and then move around on the Maglev Metro
Maglev, yeah.
board. And speaking of which, I never knew there were magnetic levitation trains. I mean, I've been alive a long time, and they've been around a long time,
Yeah.
since the 60s, I think. And there's 3 or 4 of them currently in operation in the world, and it's interesting to look up. They have videos on YouTube about maglev trains. Man, they're pretty amazing.
We learned something new from a board game again.
Yeah, again. Yeah, didn't leave the house and learned something really.
That's right. Learned about magnetic levitation trains.
They have one in Japan that's going to run in a tube that does 1,000 miles an hour. It's faster than an airplane. I mean, holy mackerel. I'd hate to hit a bump in that thing.
There's no bumps. You're magnetically levitating.
I know. We hope there's no bump. But yeah, that is an interesting, very interesting theme for this game. And I love...
Which is hard to do,
Yeah.
to get a new theme. And this is a new theme. Kind of like trains, but not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is trains.
Yeah.
And it's route building, so you're route building on the board and just trying to be efficient in picking up and dropping off robots and passengers, the commuters they're
Commuters,
called.
yeah.
And that's the typical of the pick up and deliver. But the twist is this board and how much you're thinking when you're doing this player board. Like I say, for a point scoring machine at the end of the game, for the extra actions and extra actions that you're going to take on the board, for the movement possibilities, pick up and drop off, and the capacity of your car, from how many pieces of track you can lay down per turn. It determines everything. And then also unlocking your passengers and building stations, and how many bonus cards you're going to score at the end of the game, because you can only score 1 unless you have some commuters in these rows down here. And once you complete a row, you can score your second card. If you complete another row, you can do a third, and so on, and up to 4. score 4 bonus cards. So that's one thing you can go for if you wish, and we both did to a certain degree.
Well, there's another thing. The very bottom thing is reverse trains.
Yeah,
if you do not have reverse trains, you have to continue on in the way that you're going. You can't back up. You have to always keep going around and around, unless you come to a space where you don't have a tile on the other side, then you can turn around automatically. But if you have reverse trains, you can go whichever way you want. But without that, because I didn't have that, and you have to keep going in a circle, and sometimes it's a pretty long way to get. If I'm here and I want pink and I'm going that direction, I can't just go here. I have to go all the way around to that one because of the way my train's going. So that was a challenge as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, again, it's kind of deceptive, I think, in that you're thinking about pick up and deliver in the normal pick up and deliver mechanic that's been in many board games, and it's one of the best mechanics in board gaming. And because it forces you to be efficient in your movement on the board. And let's face it, that's just the way it is when you're playing pick up and deliver. But I like that. And when you mesh it together with everything going on in this engine building point scoring player board, it really gives it a different twist.
And you have to play this more than once.
Oh gosh.
The first time you play it, you're just barely figuring out what you're doing. And until you've scored once and figure out what all these things do when you score, then that gives you an idea of, oh, I should have done that. You know, you actually need to play a game and score it.
And not even play the game, just move things around and just walk through it. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
First time we get a game, we'll set it up and just, well, let's do this, and we just mess around with it and then do a whole walkthrough of the game, score it, and then play it.
Because the scoring in this game is different, so it's hard to visualize how you're going to score until you've actually done a scoring round. Yeah. It's hard to understand what the scoring means. At least it was for us. I should say me.
I think you got to play this game 3, 4, 5 times really before.
We've only played it a couple times, and we definitely need to get more plays into it.
But this, I think you have to play this game 4 or 5 times before.
And it says 90 minutes. That's probably pretty accurate. It probably took us a little over an hour.
Yeah, okay.
And it would depend on how fast you go, because the game trigger is getting all the little people out of the bag. Well, if you don't lay these cities right away, you don't put the people of those colors in the bag until you place these cities. So you can't empty the bag. But if all you did is get all these laid and refilled stations constantly, you could probably make the game go a lot faster.
And because there's 2 players, the amount of some of these commuters is reduced. So it's a race to kind of fight for those commuters that are available. And the purple and the coral color ones are worth 2 points apiece, so those are pretty valuable.
Yeah, because you needed one more purple right there. Yeah. But I had that purple, so he knew there's no way he could fill that in.
Yeah, so I mean, and those commuters are all worth points, but there's a tug of war over them. Who's going to get them first? So you have to do your unlock passengers and build stations before the other player, so that you have the ability to get those when they come up. And they're all those. Once you build that station, all those go in the bag, and so they have to be drawn out of the bag and refilled, which is one of your powers on your player board, to get those commuters to appear, so that you can go get them and deliver them to the stations where they have to go. So it has many things to think about.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
A lot to it. It's a simple to play game. It's easy to play, easy to understand the rules, but the strategy is very difficult.
Oh, it's pretty
That's
deep.
what I would say.
Yeah,
it's a difficult game to figure out strategy-wise what your best move is.
I don't think this is a game that someone would pick up and play that doesn't play board games. But
Let's look at what Board Game Geek says it is. Go ahead.
But if you play board games, it still takes you a little bit to get used to this game and the way it plays, it's lovely the way it plays, and I think it's probably, man, I don't know what.
I'm trying to look up the weight, and my phone isn't cooperating.
I don't know. I guess for some people, maybe I would play this. I don't know. I don't think I'd play it with new players.
No. Maybe if you talked them through it.
I mean, this is easy to understand, but when you integrate this, it gets a little too deep.
It's 2.67.
Yeah.
So, and actually on Board Game Geek it says 60 to 90. So maybe it didn't. Maybe it's 90 minutes with 4 people.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't take us that long. We didn't time it because we were kind of just still messing around, but 2.67, that's medium.
Yeah.
So,
But well, I mean, what do you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun moving the little robots around. Now, it is difficult to tell the gold robots from the copper robots.
Very difficult.
I mean, in this light right now, with them side by side, I can tell them apart. But when they're sitting on a tile sometimes, it's difficult figuring out who's who. So we probably will paint the gold robots
We're going to paint them
gold.
definitely because we're going to keep the game.
Yeah, if we're going to keep the game, which
Yeah,
we are, we have
we're going to
change
paint
the color.
Yeah, we're going to paint the gold ones yellow. You know, something yellow.
Well, here's the tile. They're supposed to be this color.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be gold. So they need to be that color. And,
Yeah,
you know, they
more
sort
yellow.
of are, but they need to be more yellow.
You need to be more yellow to tell them apart.
I
That's
mean,
the only really
The
only
light pink
problem
and the
with-
dark pink, you know, are dark purple, or is it dark purple one?
Well, they're pretty different.
They're pretty different, but I think the lilac and the silver look a little bit alike too. I mean, they don't when they're side by side, but when they're sitting on the, it just depends on your lighting,
Yeah,
how things show up.
but definitely the gold ones need to be painted
But
yellow.
definitely the gold and the copper are way too close together to be able to tell them apart easily. You can tell them apart, but you have to really think about, oh, what color is that?
But this is a nice game from Bezier Games and Ted Alspach.
Oh yeah.
Really nice pick up and deliver, which I love. I mean, some people don't.
Some
like
people
pick up.
don't like pick up and
I
deliver.
love it. It forces
I enjoy
you
it.
to be so efficient in your thinking. It really puts you through intellectual paces trying to figure out how to do those moves as in as short of period of time as possible.
It's tricky and frustrating when you run out of, you need a straight track and all you got left is curves. Or you need a curve and all you have left is straight. That can be an issue.
Well, you have to, again, part of it is being flexible and you have to be able to say, okay, I have to get this done, and do I have enough time? So I'm going to pick up track and move my track and try to get to that station over there. And I had to do that a couple of times in order to just stay in the game, because you can build yourself into a corner very easily in this game, and you got to be careful when that happens.
Oh, well, and we were part way into the game when I realized I had 3 lines coming off one city. And when you do that, you have to use your next turn to correct that problem.
Yeah.
So,
So-
which is what I did. But
And the board is modular, so it has 4 pieces, fits together like a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, so that's Maglev Metro, and we really, really liked it. I don't know, what would you rate it? On a scale of what?
1 to 10,
Yeah.
I would give it, I would say 8. 8.5 is where I would go with it. What would you say?
Yeah, probably 8.5. 8. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, it's definitely, it's a 2021 game, and definitely is a really, really good one, and probably has a chance to be in our top 10
I
for
would think so.
2021.
It would take something to knock this out of
It's
it.
pretty smooth and it's pretty fun. That's the main thing. It's fun to build this and coordinate this and this together. I don't know, it's just a funny feeling to try and do that,
Yeah.
balance those. Yeah, you're really thinking over here so hard, and then you have to go over here and think, wow, how can I get this done? I need this commuter. I've got to, there's no commuters on the board. How can I make some appear? You know, you have to go use your one of your actions to refill a station and pray that those commuters come out of the bag. So there's a little bit of luck of the draw on this.
Well,
But,
and then you can take 3, it might take you 2 or 3 turns to get the commuter you wanted, and then when you get it and come back over to your board, you're like, oh, well, where was I going to put that commuter? I had a plan, and now I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
But it's a
I
cool
really
game.
like it.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
I really like it.
And the box is a decent size. I mean, it's small, regular size box. I love that.
And
I
it's
just can't.
nice and thick.
Yeah, nice
It's an
thick box from
extremely
Bezier Games.
thick
Man,
box.
beautiful art, cover art, and yeah, that's our little review, and that's the truth about Maglev Metro, the truth of the game, and we really enjoyed it, so we give it, huge thumbs up. Definitely a keeper for our library, and probably we'll be talking about this game again when we do our top 10 of 2021.
I would guess.
21.
It would take a lot to
Yeah.
kick this out of the top 10, I think.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching Bones Collector. Listen, if you have any comments or questions about this game or any of our other videos, please leave it in the comments section on the video, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. And keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet. And make
Like
sure
and
you like and
subscribe.
subscribe. Yeah, and we'll see you next time on the Bones Collector. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.